The happiest day of Daniel and Rachel Morgan's lives was the day they brought their newborn son home from the hospital. After years of trying to conceive, countless doctor's appointments, and a difficult pregnancy, baby Ethan felt like a miracle. Their world revolved around him. Every smile, every laugh, every sleepless night, they adored him. 6 months later, that happiness began to unravel. It started innocently enough. Daniel's family had a distinctive genetic trait. Every male in his family for generations had a small patch of silver-white hair near the crown of their heads. His father had it. His grandfather had it. Daniel had it. His brothers had it. Even old family photographs showed it. As Ethan grew, Daniel noticed the patch wasn't appearing. At first he ignored it. Then curiosity turned into doubt. One evening he ordered a consumer DNA test. Not because he truly questioned Ethan's paternity, at least that's what he told himself. He simply wanted confirmation. 3 weeks later, the results arrived. Daniel stared at the screen, then stared again. His stomach dropped. The report was clear. Probability of paternity? 0%. He couldn't breathe. His hands shook. His mind immediately jumped to the worst conclusion. Rachel had cheated. There was no other explanation. The confrontation that followed nearly destroyed their marriage. Rachel was blindsided. At first, she thought Daniel was joking. Then she saw his face. The hurt, the anger, the betrayal, the certainty. She cried, screamed, pleaded, "I never cheated!" Daniel couldn't hear it. The DNA results felt undeniable. Every conversation became an argument. Every glance became suspicion. Friends noticed. Family noticed. The tension poisoned everything. Even moments with Ethan felt different. Weeks passed. Rachel continued insisting she had never been unfaithful. Not once. Not ever. Finally, she proposed something. "Let's do another test." Daniel shook his head. "The first one already told us everything." "No," Rachel replied firmly. "It told us something. We don't know what." But Daniel refused. The wound was too deep, the trust too damaged. Rachel refused to give up. Eventually, she convinced him to undergo a comprehensive laboratory test involving all three of them. Daniel reluctantly agreed, mostly because he believed it would finally end the argument. He was wrong. A month later, they sat together in a genetic counselor's office. The counselor looked unusually serious. Rachel immediately sensed something was wrong. The woman opened a folder, then took a deep breath. The results confirmed that Daniel is not Ethan's biological father. Daniel nodded, exactly as expected. Then the counselor continued, "And Rachel is not Ethan's biological mother either." Silence. Absolute silence. Neither spoke. Neither moved. The room seemed to stop. "What?" Rachel whispered. The counselor slid the paperwork across the table. Multiple tests. Multiple confirmations. There was no mistake. Neither parent shared any biological relationship with the child they had raised for 6 months. The implications were horrifying. Rachel began shaking. Daniel looked physically ill. If Ethan wasn't theirs, then where was their child? The hospital launched an immediate investigation. Records were reviewed, staff interviewed, security footage examined. What they discovered shocked everyone. On the day Rachel gave birth, another baby boy had been born within minutes. A series of human errors involving identification bracelets and nursery transfers had resulted in a catastrophic mix-up. 2 families had unknowingly taken home the wrong babies. For 6 months. The news devastated both families. Neither had done anything wrong. Neither wanted to lose the child they loved. Yet somewhere out there was their biological son, a child who belonged with them, and Ethan belonged with another family. The emotional toll was unimaginable. Eventually, the 2 families met. The room was filled with tears, questions, fear, heartbreak, and understanding, because both families were living the same nightmare. They looked at one another and saw reflections of their own pain. The transition took months. Counselors helped guide the process. The courts became involved. Doctors monitored the children's well-being. Nobody wanted to rush something so delicate. The goal wasn't simply correcting paperwork, it was protecting two little boys caught in a situation no one could have imagined. 1 year later, Daniel and Rachel finally brought their biological son home, a little boy named Noah, their son, the child they had unknowingly searched for. Yet even then, the story didn't end. Because Ethan remained part of their lives, the two families stayed connected. Birthdays were celebrated together, photographs were shared. The boys grew up knowing one another, knowing the truth, knowing they had been part of an extraordinary story. Years later, Noah asked his parents a question. "Were you sad when you found out Ethan wasn't your son?" Daniel smiled gently. Rachel squeezed Noah's hand. "We were heartbroken." Noah looked confused. "But Ethan wasn't really your child." Daniel glanced toward a framed photograph showing both boys together. Then he smiled. "Biology told us who our son was." Rachel nodded. "But love told us Ethan would always be family." And after everything they had endured, the doubt, the accusations, the fear, and the loss, they had learned a truth far more powerful than DNA. Being a parent wasn't just about who shared your genes, it was about who shared your heart. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.